Lady Lazarus. I have done it again. 1 year in every 10 I manage it, a sort of walking miracle. My skin bright as a Nazi lampshade, my right foot a paperweight, my face a featureless fine Jew linen. Peel off the napkin, O my enemy. Do I terrify? Yes, yes, Herr Professor, it is I. Can you deny the nose, the eye pits, the full set of teeth? The sour breath will vanish in a day. Soon, soon the flesh the grave cave ate will be at home on me, and I a smiling woman. I'm only 30, and like the cat, I have 9 times to die. This is number 3. What a trash to annihilate each decade. What a million filaments. The peanut-crunching crowd shoves in to see them unwrap me hand and foot. The big strip tease. Gentlemen, ladies, these are my hands, my knees. I may be skin and bone. I may be Japanese. Nevertheless, I am the same identical woman. The first time it happened, I was 10. It was an accident. The second time I meant to last it out and not come back at all. I rocked shut as a seashell. They had to call and pick the worms off me like sticky pearls. Dying is an art, like everything else. I do it exceptionally well. I do it so it feels like hell. I do it so it feels real. I guess you could say I've a call. It's easy enough to do it in a cell. It's easy enough to do it and stay put. It's the theatrical comeback in broad day to the same place, the same face, the same brute, amused shout, a miracle that knocks me out. There is a charge for the eyeing of my scars. There is a charge for the hearing of my heart. It really goes. And there is a charge, a very large charge, for a word or a touch or a bit of blood or a piece of my hair or my clothes. So, Herr Doctor. So, Herr Enemy. I am your opus. I am your valuable. The pure gold baby that melts to a shriek. I turn and burn. Do not think I underestimate your great concern. Ash, ash, you poke and stir, flesh, bone. There is nothing there, a cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. Hear God, hear Lucifer, beware, beware. Out of the ash I rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air.
What you have just heard is Lady Lazarus, a poem written by Sylvia Plath and published posthumously in the collection Ariel. While commonly used to exemplify the height of the author's neuroticism, the reader should be careful not to conflate Sylvia Plath and Lady Lazarus, as the latter is mostly just a power fantasy born of the former's frustrations. The two both share crippling depression and have to endure the peanut-crunching crowd it attracts, but Lady Lazarus, much like her biblical namesake, rises above the misery and gains control of her own life by ironically committing suicide. The poem's only indication of setting is the era in which it was written, as well as the pervading Holocaust imagery. That being said, we do know that our speaker is 30 years old and has attempted suicide in every decade she's lived. These heavy implications set a tone of misery and maudlin that produce a melancholic reaction in the sympathetic reader. We are witnesses to the self-destructive forces of Lady Lazarus's affliction, and we can do little but watch like the uncaring crowd she so detests. The poem is written with a colloquial approach. Lady Lazarus is speaking to her audience in a cavalier way that serves only to underscore her purpose. Her depression is so normalized that she can speak of it only in nonchalant verse, albeit with violent and grotesque imagery accompanying. Like any skilled performer, she creates a cool persona in an attempt to mask the horrors festering beneath. Her impending resurrection is also a part of her act. Saddened to the brink by the inability to control her own life and its happenings, Lady Lazarus seizes control by confronting death on her own terms, and rises again as a result. Structurally, the poem is divided into 28 tercets, all with relation to Lady Lazarus' sadness and how it has been turned into a tragic spectacle for the public. Some stanzas employ repetition to convey the cycling nature of the speaker's condition. I do it so it feels like hell. I do it so it feels real. I guess you could say I've a call. While others seem more convoluted, a cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. What all stanzas are unified in is their merciless betrayal of Lady Lazarus' suffering. That suffering and death are inevitable is a recurring theme in this work, as well as the idea that the public eye has a ravenous appetite for tragedy, no matter what position it puts those suffering it in. There is no shortage of violent imagery supplied by Plath. The poem succeeds in creating a maniacally depressive portrait of Lady Lazarus, with the heavy brushstrokes of lines like, the nose, the eye pits, the full set of teeth, the sour breath will vanish in a day. And what a trash, to annihilate each decade. Similarly, Plath turns seemingly mundane objects into a metaphor conveying the pain Lady Lazarus has underwent, and subsequently creates a feminist theme. In lines 66 through 69, our speaker is immeasurably valuable. She is made of pure gold, she is a baby to be coddled, she is a work of art. These metaphors all correspond with traditional assumptions of what femininity is and how it should be valued in a patriarchal society. A line-by-line interpretation would read as such: to be a woman is to be only worth your aesthetic value, like gold. To be a woman is to be in constant need of protection, like a baby. To be a woman is to be glorified for beauty, like an opus. Plath then flips the metaphor on its head and signifies the objectification of women by listing several material items that Lady Lazarus feels akin in her womanhood and its destruction too. A cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. That is to say, our speaker feels valued by men only in the sense that she is useful. A cake of soap to clean, a wedding ring to marry, and a gold filling to be a symbol of status. Whether Lady Lazarus is objectively correct in her ideas is a matter of little consequence. What matters is that she feels them, that she is burdened by the constant pressure to present herself as a well-adjusted, happy woman, while simultaneously being feasted upon by her peers' love of suffering. The poem concludes with a retaliatory fantasy in which Lady Lazarus resurrects herself, for she has finally become the master of her own death and eats men like air as a way of exacting revenge. While I have warned readers not to confuse speaker and poet, Sylvia Plath was undeniably like the Lady Lazarus she had constructed. She was severely depressed and at this point in her life had recently been left by her husband in pursuit of another woman. It is hardly a surprise that Plath committed suicide not too long after the writing of this poem, this time succeeding. Plath had battled the perilous waves of mental illness her entire life, and subsequently died by her own hand on February 11, 1963.